First of all, let me unmute myself. What up, everybody? Welcome back to another Bear Show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Let's go ahead and just start it out. You know what to do. Like, share, and subscribe. Become a patron today if you haven't already. I know we had a patron show earlier with Shane and our fucking main man Cars, who may or may not have been undercover in Green Bay. I hope he was undercover because speculation and and all such. But regardless, love to see those guys on talking about what just happened because I really don't know what was going on. Again, another Bears press conference with the fuck it, we'll call them the big three: Poles, Warren, McCaskey. And it sounds like a shitty law firm. It sounds like a law firm that loses you fucking cases. It sounds like the law firm that you don't want to fucking go to. It's the last law firm you want to go to when you want to get shit right. But nonetheless, it wasn't this entire day, right? And I'll start you off like this. I have after this, I have very minimal trust or faith in these three individuals that they're going to get this correct. Now, the sun shines on a dog ass, once a day at least once a day. So I would just continue to keep your gut feeling with this franchise because until they prove different, this is who they are. This is who they would always be. The people who can't get rights of the NFL, who hold on to the past way too long and don't demand more from their franchise, from themselves. It's obvious, and here at TTNL, we talk about it time and time again. We talk about it so much that people hate us for telling the truth. And that's the biggest, that's when you know you're doing something right. When you continue to tell the truth, people get pissed off because the fucking truth hurts. Because the truth about who you are, who your franchise is, who your team is, isn't fucking good. And it hasn't been good. In fact, it fucking stinks. It fucking stinks. It rots. It's rotting from the top down. Now, can these three jamokes go ahead and figure something out? Maybe. Maybe. Like I said, you're bound to get lucky here or there. But this time, it's not about getting lucky. It's about getting absolutely 100% right. Like, balls on accurate. Okay? So, for me, I like if this is the team, these are the three guys. Like I said, I really don't have trust or faith. And let me set this chair straight so I feel like I'm hearing squeaking. I don't know if you guys are hearing squeaking as well. I just don't have the faith that they're going to boom. And they say it's a Ryan Poles decision. It's a Ryan Poles decision. But all these voices, you want all these voices in there? I like the fact that they're casting a wide net as far as coaches are concerned, because then you could hear the pretty much the rebuttal of the league of how you run your franchise. Pretty much how you could get that feedback of what you're doing wrong as opposed to what other people are doing around the league. Because, like I said before, clearly, you do not know how to hire individuals that are, in the know, in the now, innovative, adaptive. Even if they are, older people or coaches or what have you, they're able to adapt to the present NFL and the present roadblocks and obstacles that prevent your team from winning. That's what the Bears lack, the knowledge of that. And whether it be the decision of Ryan Poles finale, I don't know. I don't know if they're just doing that just to save face, and this is like because they keep talking about this collaborative. I don't know, but I'll say this: whoever you choose, don't let it be the guy that you want to fucking be your best fucking friend. You know, unless your best fucking friend can go ahead and change his franchise around, don't let it be that fucking guy. Don't let it be the guy that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside just because you feel warm and fuzzy inside. If he fucking doesn't like something that you don't like, just accept it and say, hey, you know what? Let's try it your way. Because clearly, the way of Ryan Poles has not been very great. I mean, there's been goods. There's been some good. But we're talking about great. We're talking about great. We're talking about Super Bowl. That's the destination. Super Bowl. Super Bowl isn't good. Super Bowl is fucking great and beyond. That's how you get there. Not just good. Not just we can makeshift the line. Not just we could feed Caleb to the wolves and Caleb's going to fucking fight off every wolf that fucking comes after him. You're not shepherding your flock, Ryan Poles. You need to go ahead and protect your team like you're protecting your fucking job right now. With that being said, I want to go ahead and get into these interviews. Let's go ahead and jump into the Ryan Poles interview first and foremost. A lot to be said there, Ryan. Again, do I trust him? A lot less than I trusted him, 12 months ago. So let's get into Ryan Poles. This is Ryan Poles from earlier today.
All right, good morning. We're get started here. So first, I want to thank our players for their time and their energy this year. I want to thank our support staff and our coaches for preparing our players week in and week out. I want to take a moment to thank Thomas Brown. Was put in a really tough situation, was given a lot of responsibility as the season went along. And I thought he handled it with poise, with command. I thought he did a great job leading. Just watching him inside the team meeting room, seeing him address the team, I thought he did a great job bringing accountability to the forefront. Being a truth teller was really important at that time. I want to thank our fans for their support and their patience. I understand their frustrations just with where the team is right now. And they have my word. I'm doing everything I can, and we are as an entire group, to get this thing back on track and headed in the direction it needs to be, and they can take pride in their team. I want to give a special shout out to Jalen Johnson for making Pro Bowl for the second year. That's no surprise from anyone in our building.
It is a surprise for me. I'll stop you right there, brother. Well, first, let's pump the brakes. Let's pump. No, that's not what I'm doing. Pump the brakes, Ryan Poles. I did not expect there to be a fucking single Pro Bowler on this fucking team. I'm sorry. I don't know if you saw it different than I did, but there was no one on this team deserving of a Pro Bowl spot unless it was at an alternate position. If he got voted there to be a Pro Bowler just because, that's fucking wrong. I don't see him as a Pro Bowler this year. He wasn't a Pro Bowler this year. Is he a good cornerback? I no doubt. But was he a Pro Bowler this year? Man, that's no. That's a no. Not even in hell. And it's a hell no for an all-pro. But that's a no, sir, as a Pro Bowler. I don't know how you can expect him to be a Pro Bowler the way certain things went. I mean, he was getting touched. It wasn't like he was going through the game after game with perfection. He was getting touched as well. Let's continue.
His process is always on point, and that's allowed him to be successful and consistent. In terms of injuries, some of the long-term ones with surgery, Braxton just got out of surgery a couple days ago with his ankle, and he's healing up. Billings got his pec repaired. He is out of the sling already and getting stronger, which is no surprise. And Jalen Jones also had a shoulder operation as well. In terms of the concussion guys, Brisker and Bates, they're feeling back to themselves. And I got faith in all those guys that they're going to be back ready to help us next year. I don't have a specific timetable in terms of their return, but they're heading in the right direction. In terms of UFAs, we have just a few of them in terms of our starters. And we have a couple guys that definitely will be up for some type of extension this offseason. But I think it's really important to wait for a coaching staff to be in the building because we want to make sure we have that alignment with vision, fit, and role as we move forward.
Well, so hold on. So
looking back at
these are the things that we gotta pump, we gotta stop, and we gotta address. Talk about moving forward, Ryan. These are this should have been the vision, Ryan. I thought this was always the vision. What are we talking about here? All right, let's just keep going.
At the season, not happy with the results. It's been a long season where those Mondays have been really, really difficult because we continue to come up short.
10 in a row. 10 Mondays in a row.
And I have to take responsibility as the leader of the football operation for that. And I also have to make sure that we find solutions to make sure that we don't make that mistake again and we can continue to improve. I think anytime you have struggle, but I also think when you have success too, it's important to listen, reflect, learn, and adjust to make sure that you're putting yourself in a good position. I also think part of that is taking a look in the mirror to make sure that, just in terms of myself as a leader, I'm doing everything that I can to help our football team. After spending time going through the exit process with our players yesterday, reflecting and taking time to look back, one of the things that popped out, and I think it was a common theme, is I think we have to change back to our process over outcome. I think this year, with the excitement of the season, it was very much outcome over process.
Well, why did that change? Why did that change? Who started that change? You, Ryan. We're ready to win. You, Ryan. Remember Valus? He's alive. Shut the fuck up. Oh, we're ready now? Now we're ready? How can I fucking trust you?
Winning, expectations, all of those things, which goals are fine. You never want to back down from that. But the detail, the accountability, the competitive poise in critical situations, finding a edge to win games is something that we came up short with. I think as a front office, we got to continue to add talent to this roster. We have to make sure that the players we bring into this building also fit the culture that we want, so we can continue to make strides
You
forward.
have been the fucking GM for 3 years, sir. 3 fucking years. Now we got to make sure we got to get the right fucking players in the building that fit the... Shut the fuck up. God, man. Like, this was so embarrassing.
Shut the fuck up. Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Been so fucking embarrassing, bro. all season long, and then you show up here, isolated, right? Isolated, and want to go ahead and start talking about what we need to do. Get the fuck back, bro. Get the fuck back, bro.
So I'm disappointed, just like our fans are, but I'm not discouraged. I believe we have a strong core of players that we're going to connect to the right staff as they come in to make the progress that's needed. I'm grateful for George and Kevin and their trust in me to continue to get this thing back on track and get it corrected. I do want to address some of the things that I've heard about the relationship between Kevin and I that could be further from the truth. We spend almost every single day together.
No, I think it's closer to the truth than you're fucking out here trying to spew. I think it's closer to the damn truth than you want to fucking admit, because you're so fucking embarrassed about what you fucking said is ready to win, that you have nothing else to do but fall back on Kevin Warren and his fucking whoever the fuck. It's like Kevin Warren and the Nation of Islam with all his fucking guys that he has back there. Like, you gotta fall back to them. You gotta fucking fall back to them, because otherwise it's your ass. This is what, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing.
Solutions and direction of where we want to be and where we're going to go. It is so far from the truth. It was a little disappointing to hear that, to be honest. But we do have the strong core that we're going to get with the right staff and make things happen. I was proud of the way some of our core veteran players played this year with DJ, Jalen Johnson, TJ Edwards, Kevin Byard, Cole Kmet. And I was very excited and happy with the development of guys like Dexter, Darnell, Rome, and Caleb. Looking at Caleb, I thought he did some really good things, but I also know that there is so much more left in him and his game and his skill set. I love the flashes that he showed. I love the 2-minute drills and his ability to put the team in a position to win games multiple times this season. That is a championship caliber trait. We watched that, especially this time of year moving forward. We watched that happen a lot, and we're going to continue to build off of that. We have cap space, we have draft capital, and like I said, we have continuity to continue to roll forward. In terms of our coach search, we've taken the last month or so to prepare a process. We've taken time to look back at the past processes to make sure that we were making changes and adjustments.
Last off season, when you should have fired the fucking coach, but you goofy motherfucker, you had to keep your guy. You had to keep Eberflus. You had to keep the guy, your brother, the guy you fucking knew. Bow, 20 minutes in, that he was the fucking guy for you. Shut the fuck up.
So that this is an absolute success. We've been in information gathering mode, looking at data, research, making countless calls to make sure that we have everything we need to make a sound decision. We're looking for clear vision, a developmental mindset.
How are you looking?
Really good game management.
It's like you had this. I know you're looking for a coach. I know he's talking about the coach, but this is you. This is you. You should have fucking done this. This is not all of a sudden, this is what we're looking for. We just fucking realized it. That, we have to fucking do this. No, motherfucker. Somebody asked you, do you want to keep Eberflus? So you said, yeah. We have, you fucking fought for him. This guy is he's in over his head right now. I didn't think he was in over his head until I'm listening to him at this moment. But right now, I feel like he's just fucking fighting for his job. Whatever the fuck you want me to say, I'll say. Whatever the fuck you want me to do, I'll do. He finally became the puppet the Bears need.
And obviously a plan to develop quarterback is going to be a key part of that as well.
It's garbage.
We're going to cast a wide net. it's going to be a diverse group. There's going to be different backgrounds from offense, defense, special teams,
No fat
college,
man.
pro. We are turning
Fat
every
man,
stone
it's
to make
not
sure that
just
we're
you,
doing this
bro.
the right way. We believe that's going to be really, really important.
It's not just you, fat man.
There's going to be some names that you don't expect.
We're
that are
on
gonna
this
surprise
together
you
with the
because
fat
we're,
man.
We're,
Trust
we're
me.
digging deeper than we ever have before. In terms of timing, we're going to move with urgency, but we are not going to rush the process, again, because we want it to be a sound process. In terms of the interview panel, it'll be George, Kevin, Matt Feinstein, who does admin with me, football admin, Jeff King, who's on my staff, Liz Geis, who's in HR, and obviously I'm missing Ian there. I think it's really important to allow Ian to go through his own interview process if that pops up. If it doesn't, he will be in that group as well as we move forward. And then
I would love to hear from Ian. I would love to hear from Ian because I feel like Ian might just allow us to get a little bit closer to what the fuck has been going on. Maybe he says something that allows us to be able to be, all right, this might be what the hell is going on. But I don't know. But Ryan Poles is neutered, is a neutered puppet. We might as well call him Kermit. Kermit Poles. Kermit Poles has no any. They might say he has the final say, but there's plenty of other people that are going to meet with this head coach that are going to have plenty of say. And I don't see how this guy's in charge. I don't.
And our senior leadership here with the Bears is also everyone.
I'll be right back, guys. Real quick.
Training in terms of inclusivity and sound hiring practices that the league puts in place. And as we move forward in our process, they will have time to spend with our candidates, especially as we get down to the finalist group. I'll open up to questions.
And when you talk about looking in the mirror
Yep.
and re-examining past processes,
Yep.
what were some of the errors you made in hiring Matt Eberflus, Luke Getzey, Shane Waldron, and how will that inform you to get this right?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things that I mentioned is just casting a wide net. I think it's adding more data to the equation. It's digging deeper with our research. All of those things are really important. I think also knowing the team and where it is right now, knowing it better than I ever have before. That's important. I think as you go along, you gain wisdom every single year and every experience that you go through, and that helps you make better decisions as you go.
Ryan, given the historic nature of this year's failure, what specifically are you willing?
What was it?
Given the historic nature of this year's failure, what specifically are you willing to take ownership of that contributed to the unraveling?
We lost games, and at the end of the day, the wins and losses and the record, that's on me. I'm in charge of the football operation. I've been entrusted to get this organization to a championship caliber, and we came up short with that, and I have to take responsibility for that.
Your plan for Caleb was very specific and very elaborate.
Yep.
His entire rookie season was subjected to disruption and stress. What
Can you explain the disruption and stress part?
offensive coordinator got fired, his head coach got fired, through a lot of turmoil throughout the course of his rookie season. What went wrong with your plan?
Yeah. Obviously, there's some things when there's a staff in place. When we went through the interview cycle with Shane, I think there's some compatibility things. I think there's some challenges with pairing, and I answered this before, a rookie quarterback that has a lot of growth. He had 37 starts, in college. You'd like to, have in that 35 to 40 range. And there's a lot of growth there, and there's some compatibility to make sure that it's being taught the right way. And I think there were some hiccups there. And again, that's part of the ownership piece that I got to take.
Ryan, how will you, as the organization set up this coaching search and is trying to make it as attractive as his job as possible, were you given a contract extension?
I've said from the day I've been hired, I'm not going to get in my contract. That I just think it's a very personal thing in terms of how much I'm making and how long I'm making it.
You understand why any?
Yeah, so the candidates that we talk to, that'll be something that I can address with them.
What seems to be maybe an overriding or at least a theme in the locker room that the players need more discipline, need to be challenged more. Is that true? Is that the type of coach that this locker room needs based on you learning more about your players?
Yeah, I think that's important for any locker room. I had made a comment a couple weeks ago about training camp. I think one important thing is we look at the wins and losses, but you got to go to the root cause on how we got there. And I do think we need to challenge our guys more. And when we talk about accountability, there's systems of accountability. It's how are we going to put tape up of this is not how we do it, and then with examples of this is how we do it.
This is so fucking. This is rudimentary. This is less than that. This is so basic football that you have to implement these things. Like, it's so fucking basic football, bro. I want to cry right now because these fucking people are dumb. They're football fucking dumb. They're football dumb. They're fucking stupid when it comes to playing football and how to win football games and how to be a good fucking franchise as a football team. It's fucking dumb. It's all beyond dumb. I don't understand how these people have a fucking franchise right now. How can the NFL allow such ignorance in their fucking league? How? It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. And we'll get to George's fucking ass. Don't worry. We'll get to George. But fuck Ryan. If you are what they want, if you're the face right now for George, if you're the surrogate for George McCaskey, fuck you and George McCaskey, because you're lying to us. You're lying to us.
It can be uncomfortable. I call that healthy friction. I definitely think we need more of that, and that would help result in closing that gap on some of these games that we came short.
Ryan, when these
What could the numbers get to?
I haven't put a limit on it. I think the restriction at some point is how much time you have. There's a lot of rules that go along with kind of setting your calendar up. So we want to make sure that it fits that and it's not stressing us out to an extent where we're not doing quality work. It absolutely needs to be quality, but I haven't put a number on it.
Ryan, what assurances will you give candidates about the power structure inside Hallis Hall, about who they work for, about the clarity there? There seems to be some questions.
Yeah, no. So I'll end up selecting the coach. I'm taking the lead on that, and George and Kevin have put me in charge of that, and that'll be the relationship between the coach and I.
When you know that coaches are going to ask about your status and about being aligned with you, what will you tell them?
Yeah, I'll have that conversation with them, and we'll go from there.
Ryan, when it comes to
when you talk about coaches, like having a wide enough pool where there might be some coaches that surprise you, are all options on the table? Would you consider giving up draft capital to trade for a coach of a currently employed by another team?
This is the one thing I fucking say, hell no. You have gone to the extent to say there's 14 guys out there that you're willing to consider as a head coaching candidate, and realistically, let's say there's 4, right? 4, maybe 5, but 4, right? And I'll go ahead and probably recite them off if I wanted to. You'll have a Vrabel, a Johnson, a Flores. You'll have a Brady because he's younger. And you'll maybe have a Cohen. Maybe. Because they like the youth behind the, leading their executive branch of their team. But for me, that's kind of what it is. Everybody else, and don't get me wrong, you should if you're able to go ahead, unless Mike Vrabel walks in tomorrow and you're like, okay. And to me, I would give Mike Vrabel what he needs to work. I would just say, hey man, that's it. But this is just me, right? And like I said, I'm not down with no fucking civil war. I don't want to argue about who or why the coach is a defensive coach or why the coach is an offensive coach. I just want the coach that's going to come in here and be the fucking rock in the middle of that fucking in that locker room. To be the fucking guy that makes things go. To be the guy that says, hey, this is what we do. This is what we don't do. And if you can't fucking do what we do, you got to go. Period. That's what I want. Now, if whoever you have, like, it doesn't seem like they have a bunch of people in there that need that to where I was thinking it's going to be a fucking whole fucking committee. Like the guy's going to have to walk through an entire fucking gauntlet of people to fucking pass the fucking, purity test of the Chicago fucking Bears. But it didn't seem like the board or whoever the group is that they're going to trust to hire the next coach. It doesn't seem like a lot of people, even if like Tanisha Wade's not on, even if she was on there, it still wouldn't be a lot of people. Like, I want the football guy to make the fucking decision. Like, I don't want it to be because, I forgot the lady, and I know I mentioned Tanisha Wade, even though she's not, but I forgot the lady that's going to be on this committee. But I apologize to her because she's obviously a major part of that franchise. But it's like, hey man, like, who are these guys? Again, who are these people? Who are these people? Do I know her? She's been with the franchise 20 years. I trust that. Okay, you know how this thing operates. But who are you? Like, why have you been hidden for 20 fucking years? Like, why haven't you been put to the forefront of anything? Like, I don't know anybody in that franchise. It seems like the franchise doesn't like promote or you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't fucking have anybody that they're like exalting, like as a executive or as a fucking, it just seems like whoever fucking shows up to work is our new employee, and that's it. Marge, even Marge. Like, I've never heard of fucking Marge in my life until Phil, and Phil and Jesus. Jim Larison. I don't know why Jim Larison. He's a two-name guy for me. And that means in my world, you're big time. All right? In my world, you're big time. So Jim Larison and Phil go ahead and they go on this fucking, just trip. And it's like, who the fuck is Marge? Marge seems like a fucking blast, to be honest with you. I would have been right next to Marge, annoying her the whole fucking time. Just because I know I would get some good shit. But regardless of that, who are the people in your franchise? Who are the people that we have to trust, that you trust, and we don't trust you? Who are these people? Let us know. Maybe we could trust them.
Yeah, we'll look at all avenues to get the best coach here.
Ryan, over the summer, you guys talked about the culture here, the leadership here a lot, about what you had. How did it get from that to where we're talking about details and lack of accountability? What do you think kind of fractured that? Yeah,
there's a couple things there. When we talk about culture, and I've talked about this, I strongly believe culture is people. You all spend time with them. There's a really good locker room, and they're with really good guys. I think there's some foundational things that you have to address from the beginning to kind of hold the standard throughout the entire year. I believe when you go through struggle, some of those things get difficult, right? Guys are struggling with just being down and losing games. And I think that's some of the things that we saw. any team needs like a certain standard and certain measurements of how we're going to do things. Because at some point in the season, you're going to have adversity and your
think you're
house is going to
talking
be
about
shaken
Wade,
and your
right, Coach?
foundation's tested. And at that point, you got to go look at the root cause. Did we do everything we were supposed to in terms of detailing everything we needed to? Because if you didn't, it's a little bit off. And like I said, I think we looked at the outcome and winning more than the process and doing those things. Then those things show up and bubble up. Especially, we were put in a lot of situations where, we're a couple yards away from a kick line. We were right there in a lot of situations. And I think some of the competitive poise popped up in terms of doing what we need to do and being disciplined to get over the hump.
Right, in terms
There's
of-
a lot of discussion, and I'm sure you guys will have this discussion too, about pairing an offensive guy with the young quarterback versus, a guy that can kind of oversee the whole thing and maybe has head coaching experience, things like that. Just what is your general philosophy when it comes to that kind of tug of war between those two head coaching candidates?
Yeah, I think there's for a young quarterback, obviously there's ideal fit, but at the end of the day, you got to look at all the characteristics of what you're looking for in a head coach. And then you got to see what's the best bundle of those to bring in the building. Obviously, we're talking about leadership, accountability, some of those important things that carry over regardless of what the situation is. So those have to be there. To ignore those just to go to the other side, I think is a bad deal too. So really it's the candidate that has the best collection of all of those things. And yes, the development of a young quarterback is going to be a huge factor in that.
Right.
Okay. I mean, obviously, yes. For everybody that's talking about, please, what I would say is just save everything about George for when George comes up last. Just please save everything for that moment because, wow.
You were on the verge of 5-2 in late October, and then the Hail Mary happened. Why did that set off such a downward spiral for this team in your mind?
Yeah, that's a tough way to lose. I think a lot of questioning happens just in terms of how did we get there. It's emotional in terms of the drain that comes from a loss like that. And that's where we got to be better just in terms of resilience of bouncing back and get back to things. So it was disappointing to kind of see things go south after that deal. And there's a lot of learning lessons from that game for our guys to make sure we don't put ourselves in that position again.
What was the most frustrating element for you with the offensive line play throughout the season? And then can you touch on Montez Sweat's season? He got the big impact last year, had some different injuries this year, but didn't seem to be the multiplier, which I think was the word you guys used a year ago.
Yeah. So line wise, the frustrating piece of that is I think it was hard to really identify. I'll say it this way: there wasn't one reason. It wasn't always offensive line. It wasn't always the quarterback. It wasn't always the running back in protection. There's a lot of factors in there to look into, and I think all were involved, and it's a place we need to improve as we move forward. Because obviously, you don't want your quarterback hit that much, and some of those things do fall on Caleb. I think he's mentioned that to you guys in terms of getting us in a position to pick things up and also getting the ball out on time. And that's part of being a young quarterback is you're trying to figure out the coverages.
Correct. But you built the offensive line as if fucking Tom Brady was coming in and could overcome their deficiencies. You know what I'm saying? Like you built this offensive line as if, as if you didn't have enough capital or you didn't have enough draft picks to go ahead and attack it. You wasted a draft. We'll talk about Pickens. Pickens was a waste of a fucking draft pick. We'll talk about Velus Jones. We'll talk about, signing Swift, signing fucking Everett, that waste of fucking space. And I thought it was going to be something my fucking bad. There's so many things that you didn't do that you had the opportunities to do. And this is why I'm so frustrated with this entire interview and how he's going about it and how this entire day went with the Chicago Bears. Because again, like Jerry Azuma said on the Bear Down with Big Steve, with Steve and myself, trust is gone. Who do you trust in that building? Who do you trust after today? Who are the head coaches going to trust after today? Fuck. I don't know. Do you? I can't fucking find anybody right now at the top. And you got the top fucking three. You got the three, the main three heads of the fucking Hydra. Right there. And they don't exude confidence one bit. A rudderless ship is what I see.
And you're seeing a lot of different things, but you're also trying to be right, and that leads to some of those sacks. So I think again, there's a lot of learning to be done in that situation.
Right.
Yep. I'll answer. For Montez, we had a good conversation. I know he's disappointed in himself and wants to continue to get better. I know, and he knows he's capable of much more. Also, as we continue to build the defensive line,
trust Tony
adding more talent on that will help.
The only
when
guy.
we looked at some of the chip numbers and the double teams, he did get a fair share of those too. And the way that you defeat that is continue to add talent to create more one-on-one matchups.
Ryan, you mentioned this leadership group. Can you expand on who else that is and why it's important that they're involved in your search here?
Yeah, so that goes into our SVP group on the business side. I think it's really important. Kevin and I talk about
Who
all
is
the time.
this
Just
SVP
the
group?
continuity.
Who is it? Scott Van Pelt? Is Scott Van Pelt fucking a part of the fucking hiring team? Who's the SVP? Oh, the Nation of Islam. Like I said, I joke about the fact. But who the fuck are these guys? Who the fuck is the SVP group? Hey, what the fuck is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did we just what has infiltrated this fucking entire equation? Who is the SVP group? It's fucking wild, bro.
Between football and business. That's one thing we take a lot of pride on here. So it's important when we get to the right phase that they're involved as well and become familiar with our staff. And I think that's important because it's a part of the family that's here, and they support football, and football supports business, and it's a beautiful relationship, and that's something we take seriously.
After 3 seasons in this job, what do you point to as your most significant accomplishments here?
Good question.
So the things that we've done on the roster, I think from a quarterback position, I think
you got fucking lucky. You didn't have to do fucking shit to draft Caleb Williams. And you didn't do shit to help him progress this season. That's for damn sure. So you fucking going ahead and pointing at the quarterback, you fucking little bitch, is fucking sad. You're a sad ass GM. You should be fired. That is sad. That's weak fucking shit right there, bro. The rookie quarterback is the best thing you've done in 3 fucking years. The first thing you thought of, the rookie fucking quarterback. Look at this fucking clown. He got a fucking job. Why? The rookie quarterback. Fucking doofus, bro.
I think he hasn't even hit close to his ceiling and hit a lot of milestones that haven't been hit here in a very long time. Just in this past draft, I think Rome Odunze is going to be one of the best receivers to come through here. He's a very talented, humble, and I think his leadership's going to grow. I mentioned Darnell Wright. I think from another top 10 pick, I think that's a guy that continues to get better every single year. The secondary, obviously, also being aware of the guys that were here that have done a nice job and extended and make sure that they are here. So I think there's just a lot of things on the roster that we continue to chip away. I think sometimes I'm hard on myself, and even looking at the situation for what we walked into and how much in the red we were to where we are today. I think as a front office, we can take a lot of pride in that.
That was 3 fucking years ago. What have you done for me lately, Janet Jackson? Dun, 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 dun. Not fucking shit. Other than get lucky with drafting Caleb Williams. What have you done for me lately? Keeping a fucking shitty coach that lost games for you, hiring an OC that didn't want to fucking coach your players. What have you done for me lately? Fucking nothing.
Are we going to hit on everything? No. Have we missed some things? Absolutely. I do take pride in the fact that we are learning from those misses and we continue to improve. So I think from a roster standpoint, we continue to get better. Where I want to get better is supporting the coaching staff to make sure that we have all the systems in place to make sure that things like happened this year in terms of the accountability, things like that, I want to make sure without micromanaging or getting into things, like just awareness to make sure I'm pushing forward and being a good partner to say, hey, let's make sure we hit these things so that they don't manifest later.
On that topic of accountability, you alluded in the pregame show a couple weeks ago that you traced some of this back to issues that popped up during training camp. What specifically are you referring to with that, and why didn't that get addressed back in the summer?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but we were just talking about discipline. Like we had some mistakes in pre-snap penalties, and we had a couple, they call them dojos, like don't jump situations in 2-minute drills that some of them showed up in practice, and it was addressed. But could we have done more? Could we have pushed more to make sure that they don't show up on game day?
Ryan, are you guys using outside consultants in the coaching search in any way? Background, any of that? Okay.
Brian, would you background? Yes.
Do some background work, stuff like that. Speaking of background work, why is the list so long? You guys have had a month and a half to, you haven't been able to interview coaches over the last month and a half, but you've been able to do a lot of research and you could have narrowed that by now.
There's some intriguing candidates that we want to talk to.
Ryan, you put a lot of
That's not the fucking question, dipshit. That's not the question, dipshit. He said, why didn't you get those fucking guys out the way? Because Eberflus has been gone for fucking like 6 weeks, bro. Over 2 months. Or almost 2 months, excuse me. Almost 2 months. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck you been doing? Hoping and wishing and praying and get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, what have you been doing? What have you done for me lately? I don't fucking know, bro. What have you been doing?
More leadership.
Say that one more time.
The locker room itself needing more leadership, like the players are asking for a coach. I'm wondering if you're looking at the locker room right now thinking, I need somebody to come in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we definitely will take that into consideration as we add more talent to the roster. I've also challenged in some of our exit meetings some of our guys to take the next step to lead as well.
Shit. Like this fucking guy
I was in the same category, and some of our guys were too, in terms of, I saw this and I just was, should I say something about this? Should I step up? And I encourage all those guys, we got to get to this place. We've been together long enough. There's continuity. We aren't going to take things personal anymore amongst each other, both in the front office and in football operations, but also in the locker room and in coaching. Like, we got to be able to have healthy friction. Like,
it needs to be fucking personal. First of all, it needs to be personal. Motherfucker. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to call him out his name. But it needs to be personal. There's a reason why your undrafted ass didn't last. Because it needs to be fucking personal. What the fuck, bro? It don't get personal? We gotta fucking kumbaya our way to the Super Bowl? We gotta pray that we get that fucking team in the Super Bowl? Get the fuck out of here, man. This is fucking ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. What he's saying is fucking bullshit. Oh my gosh. He sounds like George. George's hand is just shoved up his ass. First of all, it's shoved up Kevin's ass, whose hand is shoved up fucking Ryan Paul's ass, and is just spewing George McCaskey. Oh!
Like I talked about, to say, hey, that's not the way we're supposed to do it. Let's clean it up and get better. Because again, that will show up later in the season.
Ryan, what's the you stood by Matt Eberflus believing in his leadership ability. And as you go through this next search, how do you properly identify what a leader looks like to run this football operations here for you?
Yeah, just more sensitive on the follow through and the actions that come with, we all talk about a lot of things, and there was some follow through. I think to say like it wasn't all there, that he didn't do what he was supposed to do, would be false. I think it can be done stronger and more consistently, again, to make sure some of the little things don't pop up later.
Historically, this franchise hires assistant coaches and makes them head
Love you
coaches.
guys.
I think only one in the last 100 years has been a head coach before. What is the value you put on experience at the head coaching level versus how you project an assistant to be, given that Matt Eberflus was an assistant and maybe some of the traits you thought would translate did not?
Yeah, it's a great question. When you look at that,
Great,
good coaches come
excellent
from
question.
different places,
Great
different
question.
backgrounds.
Love the question.
I
appreciate your question. I
how are you
hate that
supplementing,
fucking shit. I
your,
appreciate your question. Shut the fuck up and
your
answer.
your
you
blind
bitch.
spots, your void. So if you're first time head coach, what can we put in place for you to help support you? What do the coordinators look like? Are they former head coaches? You have an advisor that's a head coach that's at your right side to pick up some of the blind spots and say, hey, you might want to take care of this. This could turn into something later, or I think you might be missing here. So how are you supporting some of those blind spots if you are a first time coach? If you have been a head coach before, yeah, there's a lot of value because some of the new things, like you've already experienced those, you've been around it, and you have kind of the playbook and the blueprint on how to counter things when they go away from you, or when you have success, how do you make sure that everyone stays humble and they continue to work and get better?
Right, you put a lot of weapons around.
Which coaches have you scheduled interviews with already?
So what we will do, and I forgot to mention this, when we interview candidates and they approve it, we will make sure we put that out to you of who we interview. So I'm not going to go through and put all that out now, but as we complete an interview, we will send that out to make sure you have the name. Yeah, one more? Yeah.
Brian, you put a lot of weapons around Caleb on the outside and not so much elite talent from the inside out in terms of offensive line.
Yep.
In hindsight, do you feel like that was the best thing for Caleb in the offense? And also going forward, do you feel like you have enough resources to flip the O-line in this offseason?
Yeah, so I would say, like, in a bubble, philosophically, you would obviously do that. I also think you got to look at the situations in terms.
In a bubble, philosophically, shut the fuck up. The answer is yeah, man. You know what? I think we should, in retrospect, we added players that we thought were going to be in there, are quality players, and we believed in those players. But adding to the front line might have been something that we should have addressed, looking back at it. But you want to talk about a fucking bubble? Shut the fuck up, bro. And I know Caleb has, and like I said, and people come on here and we get these trolls that come on here and act like we haven't been, well, at least myself. I've been critical of Caleb when I need to be critical of Caleb. And it's because I love the fucking kid. It's because I think he's going to be the fucking guy that gets us there. But having fucking this excuses and these, we look at it like this, like we fucked up, but what was it say? Oh, everything is there, like except the winning. Everything's in place except the fucking winning. Yeah, that's how we run a fucking franchise. That's what we're getting from these fucking people. That's what we get. Hey, guess what? What's the stadium progress look like? Oh, well, it's going great. What does it look like? Is it progressing? We expect 2025 shovels in the ground. What are you doing to progress it? Having meetings. Shut the fuck up. It's all fucking bullshit. This team, this franchise, the people that run it, they're running it into the ground. And I don't know if it's purposely or arrogantly or whatever. They just think that they're the fucking top, tip top, the know-it-all about football, and they know shit.
In terms of, when you go through the draft as a trade deal, it's what's best available. Also, when you go through free agency, we're looking at a board of what's there. So just because it's the philosophy doesn't mean that every year there's answers at those positions for you to take.
Shut the fuck up.
But
Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Just gonna leave it at that. Ryan Poles with his excuses, and I guess whatever his plan is moving forward, it was very just difficult to take in when I was listening to it. It's so frustrating listening to a guy that and I know is full of shit. You know what I'm saying? And damn right, fuck, bro. I'm done with this shit. He's lying to you. He's lying to us, which makes me and brings me in, and now it's all of us, and he's lying to us collectively. Somebody has to speak. I don't give a they put him up there by himself, right? Everybody had their each individual thing, and we're gonna get into Warren right here in a second. But it felt like it was just a regurgitation of what they wanted him to say. Here you go. Like I said, here's Warren up his ass. There's fucking McCaskey up Warren's ass. You talk to McCaskey talk. You talk to McCaskey talk. And Warren, you make sure he talks to McCaskey talk. The fuck out of here, man. It's so fucking sad. It's sad. Say it again. Say it louder, Joe. Say it louder, Joseph. 14 wins in 3 years. But it's a bubble. Right? It's a bubble of how I guess you can look at shut the fuck up. We can look at it directly to you. The conductor of this shit. The maestro of what's going on the field. The shit show. You're the maestro of the shit show. That's what he is, Ryan Poles. Maestro of the shit show. Chubbs, thank you for the $5. These guys are clowns. This press conference today made me think we're never going to win again. These are weak men. I don't know how to disagree with you, Chubbs. What do you want to say? Chubbs, end show. Like, there we go. End show. That's pretty much all we need to say. It's pretty much all we need to say. Should I just let it all out, X-Man? I mean, there's a little bit that I haven't let out. I don't know if I want to get it. You're at about a 7.5. You don't want to get the 10. Okay. No, but seriously, man, like, this is all the same lie in our face. Like, just here's just a big bear dick in your face. Here you go. Boop, boop, boop. Just boop, 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 boop. Take this bear dick and shut the fuck up. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. You're raping us of our love for football because you can't fucking understand that we don't want your idea of a football team. Albert Breer, Mike Vrabel, the perfect fit for Chicago. The perfect fit for Chicago. Would change shit immediately. You got multiple guys in the locker room right now on the roster that will fucking vouch for that guy. That I'm sure will fucking run through a wall for that guy right now, and he's not even their coach. And this is not anything against Ben Johnson. If Ben Johnson could do it, fucking God bless him, let's go. But this is what I'm talking about, man. You need somebody that changes this fucking mentality. It's garbage. Here's the president, Kevin Warren.
I want to keep my opening comments brief. First, I want to thank ownership again for this incredible opportunity to lead this franchise. Obviously, thank our players and coaches and staff, and most of all, thank our fans just for being the best fans in the world. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Kevin, can you expand on the idea of your SVPs being involved, the business side being involved in these interviews, and what type of input are you looking for from them?
I think it'll be some SVP, senior vice presidents, and also some executive vice presidents. I think what it shows is that we just want to have a collaborative organization to provide our individuals, our employees here. A lot of them, like Karen Murphy, one our chief operating officer, but has been here over 20 years. They have insight into the organization. And all these interviews they go both ways. It's not only us interviewing the candidates, but it's the candidates interviewing us. And I want to make sure, I know Ryan wants to make sure that we provide all the opportunities for candidates to ask, questions. So I like the collaborative nature of it, to be able to have them involved in the process at the appropriate time. I know early on, it will be a smaller group as Ryan addressed.
So the finalist phase?
Well, I don't know if it's a finalist phase, Ryan, because he's running point on it, he'll dictate when that happens. But I think the lesson of it is that this will be a collaborative environment and process.
Kevin, there might be some coaching candidates who come in who want to bring in their own general managers.
Don't make it fucking personal, Kevin. Good to see you. She's asking a question. She's doing her job, sir. She's not fucking gonna take it easy on you. Just fucking answer the question.
How do you respond to that, saying that Ryan's leading the search? If somebody comes in and says, I want this job, but I want my own GM.
Yeah, one, I think, we made it clear. I made it clear on early December. And as Ryan talked about today, he is our point person on the search. He's our general manager. He's head of football operations. From a hypothetical standpoint, it probably wouldn't be appropriate for me to answer that at that point in time. I'm confident in our process. I said it in December, and I'll say it again. This will be a coveted job. I mean, we have so much going for us. We have incredible ownership. We have the best fan base in the world. We found a franchise quarterback. We have salary cap space. We have draft capital. We live in a world-class city. We just have a lot of attributes going for us. So
I wonder if I'm a part of that world-class fan base in Kevin's mind. I wonder if you're a part of that world-class fan base. The guys that actually call him out and not take this shit. I wonder if we are actually a part of that world-class fan base, or they're just talking about the people that are going to follow them no matter what. They're talking about the lemmings. Are they talking about the lemmings? Or are they talking about the real fucking Bears fans that lived it? That live it. It's fucking, it's so hard to tell these people because it's disingenuous. Every time I hear somebody talk from the front office of the Chicago Bears, I feel like it's a fucking suit lying to me. I feel like it's the fucking, the United States government lying to me again.
I'm confident that if we do our job from a process standpoint, which we will, and sit down and be open and honest, that people will look at this as a great opportunity. And from a hypothetical standpoint, I'm confident with the group that we have right now, and Ryan leading our charge.
Ryan has been in this role for 3 years now, and 2 years under your supervision. What is your assessment of his performance as general manager, and what are your biggest concerns about the state of the organization right now?
Yeah, I think the assessment, we've made it clear. I trust him, and he's a hard worker. He's young. He's talented. He's curious. I think his greatest attribute, he's willing, as he did just in the press conference, to raise his hand and say, here's some things where he fell short. He's as hard on himself more than anyone could be hard on him. And he strives every single day to do the right thing. And I think one of the things in life I encourage Ryan and others is to be self-reflective, which has been good. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed throughout the season. I've noticed from the first day that we met and even up to this morning, when we got together at 6 o'clock this morning here early, is that he's reflecting on what he can do to continually be the leader that I know he is, and he will continually grow to be a great leader. He's passionate about it. He cares. All those things really go into it. He's not here
when I
just all
finally
for
meet
all
you,
the
Hector, I'm gonna
accoutrements of
kick you
being
in
a
the
general
nuts.
manager in the league. He wants to win. He loves this franchise. He's passionate about the Chicago Bears, and he's going to do everything he can.
As competitive as you are, what are your concerns about where this team is at the end of the 20?
You know me as well as anyone. I despise losing. And so I am focused at every level.
Well, thank God. I didn't know, because you fucking lost her 10 weeks in a row. We couldn't tell. It just seemed like everything was kosher. Everything was copacetic. Everything was chill. Business as usual at McCaskey Hall.
And from at anything I compete in, winning with integrity is my focus. And so from a critical standpoint is we need to do better here. I mean, collectively. And it's not them. When I say we, I'm talking about me collectively. And I'm going to continually pour every ounce of energy in here from a business operation standpoint, from a stadium standpoint, from a football standpoint, to provide all the resources that I have access to, all of my energy and insight to win. And I'm confident that we will win here. We will win championships here. It's not going to be easy. And I know sometime in life, you got to go down to be able to come up, but that's part of it. We're built for this. We have the support of ownership. And the thing that I like about it is that there has been no taking a step back. You saw it in Green Bay. It would have been, that would.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? What was our record last year? What was our record this year? How'd the offensive line look this year? How'd the offensive line look last year? Let's not bullshit the entire thing, Kevin. Kevin, you can fucking get away with a lot of your bullshito, but let's not bullshit the whole thing, Kev. Big Kev dog, big dog. Don't bullshit the whole thing, Kev. Oh, come on, man. We're not fucking that dumb, Kevin. Golly.
Would have been a very easy game for our players. It was cold. It's on the road. We hadn't won in the division. We hadn't beat them in a long time. But to come together, and even the way the game went, to make our mind up that even after the turnover, to say, let's rally together. And I thought it was apropos to end the season 1-0 in 2025, but do it with a walk-off field goal. And I think that helps set the tone. But yes, we're going to do all that we can to build a champion here.
I feel like he's involved with football, but he's not a football guy. He's just involved. He's on the business side of football. You know what I'm saying? He's on the business side of football. So I would hope, again, if Ryan's making a decision, Ryan makes a decision. But I'm afraid Ryan's fucking ass is going to make the decision that helps him keep that fucking job and not necessarily helps the Chicago Bears win. How do you trust any one of these people? How? Warren the con man? McCaskey the doofus? And you got Poles the puppet. Deadly mixture, if I say so myself.
Yeah, you mentioned the Wayne Stadium. You've been here unofficially for 2 years.
20 months.
Yeah, 20 months. What is the status of the stadium? Is downtown still the focus? Is
Yes.
Arlington Heights, and when are we going to see momentum?
Yeah. So the status is downtown still remains the focus, the museum campus. I feel that we've made
Why
a
the
massive
fuck you
amount of momentum.
lying?
Again, I've
Why
been here
you
20
always
months,
lying?
and we've made great progress. But along with those lines, we own 326 acres of beautiful land in Arlington Heights. It's a fantastic piece of property. We were able to get the memorandum of understanding done there. And so optionality, does exist, but I'll remain steadfast that the goal is to make sure that we have shovels in the ground in 2025, and I'm confident that will happen.
What's the progress
for
for you personally? Having to invest the time you have to invest in this coaching search, does that take away the time that you could be spending on the stadium?
This is my life. I mean, fortunately, I have a wife. We've been, married coming up on 34 years.
What does that have to do with the question? The fuck does that have to do with this is my life? The fuck does that have to do with the question, bro? But what is you being married to your wife for umpteen years have to do with the fucking question, bro? Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
She's grown up in this business. My kids grew up in this business. I have adult kids. This is my life. The Chicago Bears are my life. And so I spend so much time here anyway. And the thing, as I said it in December, and I'll say it again today, this decision on our head football coach will impact the trajectory of this franchise for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We have to get this right, and I'm confident that we will.
For all the reasons you listed about your confidence in Ryan.
Yes.
Are you committed to him for the long term? Because that seems like that would be a potential concern for a new coach coming in. If Ryan is at the end of his contract.
I'll be right back,
and this
guys.
new
Gonna
coach
use the
will be starting
bathroom.
his
I mean, there are a lot of assumptions in your question. When we say long term, I mean, a year is a lifetime. And I know that's important. And I know 2025 is important, not only from a football standpoint, from a stadium standpoint, from an operation standpoint. And so, again, I trust Ryan. I trust the process that he has put together. I'm confident it will yield positive results. We will hire a world-class coach, whether it's Thomas Brown or someone who currently does not work in our organization. We will get this right. And I'm looking forward to it. I am so excited about being able to start these interviews. I haven't been able to sleep the last couple of nights.
All right, hey, we're gonna work this right here. 1, 2, 3.
What exactly is the progress and momentum you speak of with the stadium search? Because it doesn't seem like there's been a ton of that.
Yeah, I mean, when you say it doesn't seem like that, I mean, we have stadium meetings every single day. And so from a political standpoint, from a business standpoint, these things are massive projects. I've been here before in Minnesota. This is not buying a house where you go and find it and you put a deposit down and then you close at a certain day. It's so many different things that come together. And I think as you'll see, especially as we get into the spring and summer, you'll start seeing some of this progress that I'm talking about now. But I feel the momentum is really moving in the right direction. And we're exactly, from a stadium standpoint, right exactly where I thought we would be.
Last two. Courtney, go ahead.
I'm not taking a shit, Cookie. Hector, Jesus.
Ryan talks about accountability.
I would
on the
let you
front
know.
end, that the foundation needs to be different. At one point, Shane Waldron was a great candidate,
Yep.
so much so he got hired here. Same thing with Matt Eberflus. Are there things that you have to guard against, knowing how things fell apart this year, personality-wise, leadership-wise, in these meetings? So those same sorts
How
of
it just
people are not
collapsed.
brought into this organization for the next
Courtney, that's a fantastic question. I think
Of course it is.
there's
It's a
nothing to
fantastic
guard
question.
against. I would twist
Does anybody notice how Courtney has just these fantastic questions?
a little bit, and I would say there's standards that we have to set, and that it becomes very simple. The way I look at my life, it becomes very simple. Either you're above the line or below the line. And I think the standard has to be, there's certain standards we're going to have to set, from discipline, accountability, hard work, vision, foresight, leadership, game management from a coaching standpoint. And I think we have to commit to those standards, and we have to hold each other accountable that if people start to deviate and justify a reason to go below the standard, we have to say the standard is the standard. It's not about the person, it's about the standard. And I think once we set that standard in the process, which we have done, it will become clear who are the candidates that meet that standard, and then you look for the goodness of fit. But I think that's the thing that I will make sure that I'll focus on making sure that we set the standard and that we abide by the standard.
Last one. From your
Why wasn't the standard set this fucking year? You were in charge this fucking year. It's your team, you fucking putz. What the fuck am I watching right now? What the fuck am I listening to, bro? This is your team. You're the team president. Set the fucking standard. You fucking have to wait now to set a standard. These fucking clowns. These fucking just, they're just a cliche of fucking what football's not. It's a joke. It's a joke. Oh my God, set the standard now. We got to set the standard. When do you set the standard? When do you set the standard? Year 2 or year fucking 1? Or day fucking 1? When do you set a standard? When? You're a phony, bro. You're a fucking phony, bro. Build the fucking stadium and get the fuck out of my fucking city. That's all I gotta say to Kevin Warren. Fucking phony, bro.
Time in Minnesota, what experiences can you draw on that will help you in a coaching search? Were you involved in
Yes,
coaching searches
100%, yes. And I think with the experiences is that you need to make sure, if I would say one attribute, is to go into the search without your mind made up. I think that's the thing that I learned the most. You need to go into these searches wide open and to be able to look at it just from a global standpoint. And what I just said to Courtney
Don't make up
is
your fucking mind before you talk to people. That's the one fucking key. What the fuck, bro? How is this guy in charge of anything?
having a standard. What are we looking for? There takes a certain kind of person. And I say this lovingly with all respect. This is a phenomenal franchise. It's a historical franchise in an incredible city. But our fan base is, because they're so passionate, you have to be sturdy. You have to be disciplined. You have to be strong here in Chicago. You have to basically emulate what Chicago stands for. So this job
What does
is a
Chicago
unique
stand
job
for?
everyone.
What does Chicago stand for, sir? What does Chicago stand for? Do you know? Do you know? Are you just Chicago now? Because there's a lot of people that are Chicago now and haven't been Chicago fucking forever. Chicago to the core. There's a lot of people that show up big with suits and money all over the city that are Chicago now. But are they Chicago stay? I don't know. I don't fucking know about this guy, especially this fucking guy. I don't think he's a Chicago stay.
One in these leadership position. And so I think the thing that I learned in Minnesota is to make sure that you go into this process with clean hands, clean eyes, no decisions, and make sure you set the standard. And then once it becomes clear that that person.
Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
Shut the fuck up. Set the standard. Well, the standard should be set already. It should be fucking set. It gets started with you. I want to hear how you guys feel about that. How did that interview vibe with you? Because to me, it was an outsider. To me, it seemed like an outsider trying to talk us into the bullshit that we already been living. Right? Did it seem like I said, it's a carpetbagger who comes in on a whim, boo, whoop, comes in with the wind, and just, hey, here you go, blah, 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 blah. This is how this is. Oh, we ain't doing this. Shut the fuck up. The standard should have been set day one. You fucking signed a contract with the fucking team. You should have set the standard with your GM. Your GM sets the standard with your coach. The coach ensues fucking sets the standard with the team. You can't even set a standard. What's the standard in Chicago? It's not fucking winning. The standard always is winning, and it's not here in Chicago. I'm done with these fucking clowns. Here's fucking McCaskey. Two seconds, guys. My bad. There we are.
First, I want to thank Matt Eberflus for all of his hard work and dedication on behalf of the Bears. Thank you to Thomas Brown for all that he did and is doing for the Bears. He said himself, he was placed in a very challenging situation, 3 jobs in 1 season, and he embraced that challenge. He said he doesn't run from them. I think it invigorated him, and he did great work on behalf of the Bears. Thirdly, thank you to the fans. We know this has been an incredibly frustrating season with the expectations of September and the disappointments of December, and they stuck with us, and we're grateful for that. They deserve a winner, and we're going to do everything we can to give it to them. And if Hub were here, I would invite him as the Helen Thomas of the Corps to ask the first question. I don't know who's second in tenure.
Oh, thanks. Helen Thomas. Does anybody know who the fuck Helen Thomas is? I know I don't know her. You know what I'm saying? But it has to be like apparently it's the most senior fucking journalist or whatever. Stop being cute, George. You trying to be funny only fucking makes you look like a fucking dick. It makes it worse for you. He digs his own grave here. Don't worry.
Here, but I would suggest that instead of shouting over each other, you respect each other and take turns.
George, at the Seattle game near the end of it, there's some pretty loud chants from the fans that were there, sell the team. What was your reaction? I'm sure you heard it or heard about it. What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, it's understandable. As Kevin mentioned, our fans are passionate. They're incredibly frustrated. They wanted to make their voices heard. I was more bothered by the week before when Lions fans tried to take over Soldier Field and force the home team to go to a silent snap count.
Fuck you, George McCaskey. Fuck you, bro. Fuck you. The Lions game, you're going to fucking try to spin it on us? Oh, we didn't show up for the Lions game? What about the last fucking 40 years? What about that, George? What about showing up for the fucking last year of John Fox? What about showing up for fucking Tressman? What about showing up for Nagy? George, Dave wants that. George, what about showing up for them? You fucking putz. Oh, but the Detroit Lions, suddenly they're really fucking good because they decided to fucking forget all the bullshit that they tried to fucking implement with that team and became a winner. So you're upset with us because Detroit became a winner. Well, guess whose fault that is, George? Yours, you fucking loser. Yours. Your fault, George. You're in charge. This is your team. This guy's an imbecile, bro. No wonder nobody fucks with him in the NFL because he's a fucking fool. George, you only have that fucking name. That's only thing that you have connected to your fucking grandfather. Because you're nowhere near the fucking coach or the fucking football guy he was. Nowhere near. Fucking clown trying to put it on us. Fuck you, George. That's what I gotta say. Fuck you for trying to do that shit. 40 fucking years plus years. How many fucking years have we witnessed the team fucking suck? But it's our fault. Right, George? Fuck you.
Fortunately, that didn't happen. It's understandable that Bears fans would sell their tickets because of the way the season has gone. And the challenge for us is to put a team on the field that Bears fans are so excited about, they're not interested in selling their tickets.
George, how hard was it to? 3 years ago, you were part of a search process, obviously right in the center of that search process for a general manager and head coach. What errors in judgment and process did you identify from that stage that
Shitty
you
ass
apply now
mustache
here in
yours.
2025?
Well, I think Ryan referenced it and Kevin referenced it. You learn from your experiences.
How you get peach fuzz at fucking
gaining wisdom.
78?
Insight into the process. We're very excited about the process that Ryan has laid out. We're going to start that process as soon as we finish with you folks, and we're looking forward to it.
Something specific.
You guys have never fired a coach in season. How hard was that to do, and were you reluctant to fire Matt Eberflus in season?
We heard a lot about that. The Bears have never done it. Just because we had never done it doesn't mean that there wasn't a situation. Each situation is different. In the 100-year history of the Bears, one person held the job for 40 years. So there's that. I think you take each situation individually. It wasn't that we were adamantly opposed to do it or anything
Somebody's
like
gotta
that.
do it.
You do what
Somebody's
you think
gotta
is
do
right
it.
in the
Sorry.
moment.
George,
Kevin?
what was your reaction to Tyreek Stevenson's actions during the Hail Mary and how the team handled it the next couple of weeks?
I had never
Little ass
seen
mustache.
anything like that. As an observer of this great game for more than 60 years.
What does that mean, George? Are you now touting your fucking football prowess as an observer of the game for 60 years? Shut the fuck up. You're just a fan, remember? You're not a football evaluator. You and your little ass mustache need to sit the fuck down, shut the fuck up, and stop fucking meddling with football business. Period.
I was more interested after it happened in his reaction and his teammates' reaction. I think he understood that he made a mistake. He owned up to it. He apologized to his teammates. He apologized to the fans.
He owned up.
And he said he was going to learn from it.
He
and
said,
I think
I'm
he did.
sorry, guys.
George, what do you make of the?
He said, I'm
players
sorry,
saying that the
guys. He said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad. It cost us fucking. No! It shouldn't be fucking tolerated. Zero fucking tolerance. These people and their fucking. It's so ass backwards on how you fucking run shit. It's sad, man. It's sad. And I bleed blue and orange. And it's sad that this is the fucking people who inherited this team. It's sad because this fucking guy and his fucking mom and his fucking brothers and the fucking board are clueless on how they really want to fucking run the team. Or they have the idea. They want to milk this motherfucker for all it has. Whether it wins or loses, they don't give a fuck about you. Seems about right to me.
Ability was lacking in the locker room, and then talk that maybe Caleb Williams wasn't challenged as hard as he could have been challenged.
Well, I think the players are the best barometers of things like accountability. It is said that the great teams are really run by the players, that there's leadership in the locker room to bring that about. And we need to do better in that area going forward.
If you don't allow a specific type of player to enter your locker room, you won't get that type of leadership, will you? If you can't fucking mend a fence with Olin Kreutz, who's probably the top not probably, he's in the top fucking 3 best linemen in my heart in the Chicago Bears history. You can't even mend a fence. I don't know if it's mended or not. But Olin doesn't have a position. Olin can't have a position. This guy's a liar. He's a liar. All he wants to do is hide behind that Chicago Bear 85 fluff. We're the monsters of the Midway. It's all a marketing ploy for him and his family to get rich and continue to stay rich. That's what it is. The football team matters not. It's all about how his family and his descendants continue to stay rich by milking the franchise. And whatever happens, happens.
14 years that you've been in charge, the Bears have hired 3 general managers and 4 coaches. What evidence is there that you learned from these processes?
Well, the idea is to get it right. As I said, Bears fans deserve a winner, and we're going to do everything we can. I think with Ryan's leadership and the process that he's outlined, and with guidance from Kevin, Ryan's going to make the best decision going forward.
But why will this be different than the previous ones? I mean,
Well, Ryan has the benefit of his experience, and he has the benefit of the guidance from Kevin.
Kevin's the difference. So who's in charge, George? Who's in charge, George? If it's ultimately Ryan's decision, but he has the guidance from Kevin, whose decision is it? George, you fucking little mustache bitch. You look like he looks like he has I know he doesn't, but it just looks a little Hitlerish right there, doesn't it? A little bit. What a fucking ass clown.
Who's been through this process before, so we're hoping for a better result.
George,
along those lines.
George, why do you think that the current power structure, the setup with Kevin and Ryan will be cohesive in this coaching search?
Their alignment, their cohesion, their shared values, their communication, everything I've seen.
Beep, burp, bop, burp, burp, beep, blap, 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 beep, 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 bop, boop, boop, beep, bop, bop. That's what he fucking just told you guys. That's his answer. That's what he just said. It's his coercion. They're together. They're cohesion. Shut the fuck up. What? Dude, why? Why they didn't get anything done this year? Your GM didn't even know there was issues during training camp. What was he doing? Oh, he was getting ready to cry for a fucking journeyman safety who didn't even make the fucking team.
Has been excellent, and expect good results as a result.
George, will Ryan need a contract extension to prove to an incoming coach that their futures are tied together?
I don't think so.
You're full of
in
shit.
The interviews that I've participated in, that's never been a factor. Nobody has ever come in and said, I'm not going to come here unless the coach or the general manager and I are on the same timeline. So I don't think that's going to be a factor.
George, what if a coach wants to report a direct line to ownership? We've heard some want that. What do you say to them for that?
Our structure is vertical. Head coach reports to the general manager reports to the president reports to the chairman.
So that would be a deal breaker if someone said that.
Well, I haven't ever experienced anyone saying that. Usually they want the job.
George, how often do you
Oh. So there's no flexibility with how you run your ship. So it just sounds to me like there's diversity of thought to a point, or there's diversity amongst personnel to a certain extent. And then it's like, nope, that's not our guy because he says bad words. Or he said, hey, I don't give a fuck to somebody. Or he told a player, hey, get your fucking ass together. Because that's what it sounds like, is that you're running this fucking charity, or you're running, you know what I'm saying? Like you have these tattletales coming over to you, whining about, oh, well, he didn't tell me. He told me that. Like, what is going on? What is your definition of somebody that wants the job? If they have an idea of how they want to run this, and they say, I don't know if Ryan Poles is going to be the guy to do it, or is Ryan Poles going to fight me when I want something for my team? Is he going to fight me on that? These are the things that need to be asked and aren't going to be asked, bro. It's true.
Reflect on your own performance as chairman. Do you, ever think about that maybe someone else should be stepping into that role? How long do you plan on staying in this role? Is there a succession plan?
Ultimately, I'm responsible for the failures of the Bears. The legacy of George Halas is excellence on the field and making a difference off the field.
When did George Halas make a difference off the field? Was George Halas like this fucking, like, was he Santa Claus to the fucking Chicago kids back in the day? Did he fucking like ride the streets down a fucking with a Cadillac and a bunch of Christmas gifts, dressed as Santa Claus down the Magnificent Mile? When was he this fucking humanitarian? When? He played baseball. He coached football. Fucking worked. What was he working on a dock? What was it? Like, when did he have this time to humanitarianize himself? Like, where was all this humanitarianism when it came to George Halas? And why is that part of his legacy? And I'm not saying that being a humanitarian is a negative thing. Doing something nice for people, or doing something positive for the community, or for people that are less fortunate, is an amazing thing. But it just seems like they keep tying this in with football. It's I don't know. It just seems to me like they want to be this humanitarianism group and not a football team. They don't want to fucking coach. They don't want to do anything with football. They just want their money. And if that's the fucking case, assholes, then sell the majority of the team to somebody else who wants to win football games. It's just a weird dynamic. Because then you go ahead and you read about Muggs and you read about all this other stuff. First of all, why was Muggs' body filled with sawdust? Just a question. But again, like, regardless of that, these people, you don't know who they are. They've never been honest with us. Never. The only thing that they're living off of is that their fucking grandfather made the decision to fucking hire Mike Ditka, who won a fucking Super Bowl, who had a great team, who your fucking brother dismantled because he was too much of a pussy to handle fucking criticism and handle fucking grown men. And then he fucking went ahead and ruined it with fucking God knows how long. Had a couple seasons here and there, got lucky here and there, fucked up a coaching hire, Dave McGinnis. Got lucky enough to fucking get to a Super Bowl with Lovie Smith. And then boom, bam, boom. As soon as he fucking gets it right with the fucking GM and the fucking head coach, we want to get rid of them all. We want to get rid of them all prematurely. We want to fire the head coach after he wins 10 games. And now look who we are. But we're supposed to trust this guy, this fucking clown. We're supposed to trust him? We're supposed to trust his family?
I think the Bears have done a great job off the field, making an impact in the community. The fact of the matter is, we haven't done it on the field, and ultimately, that's on me.
Ryan said,
Colleen?
given the way the last 3 years have unfolded, why was it the right move to retain Ryan Poles?
We like his leadership. We like the staff that he's assembled. He has a couple people on his staff, Ian Cunningham and Jeff King, who probably should be general managers for another NFL team.
That's not
The communication.
That's not helping them. That's not helping them with how this team was assembled. You telling everybody, oh, they should be general manager. Why? Look what they help assemble. Look what they've helped assemble. Where's the offensive line? 2 offensive linemen, former offensive linemen up there. Where's the offensive line? Oh, but they should be GMs. They should be GMs somewhere else.
Has been excellent. And he's in a business where in the player personnel department, there are going to be hits and there are going to be misses. And the key is you have to have more hits than misses. So that is the challenge for him and for his staff.
George,
no shit, George.
The progress. What's your thoughts on the progress? Is it taking too long at this point?
No, it's not taking too long. These things take time. We're making progress, and we're looking forward to
Hendricks, you got here
a good
late.
result.
Last one, Courtney.
Ryan
Missed
said you
about
guys
8
are
other
getting
ones.
outside counsel for background on these head coaching candidates. Who is that? Who's providing that background?
Whatever Ryan
Shut
picks.
the fuck up. Do you know what shut the fuck up mean?
What a sad state that we're in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. It's not fun. Hasn't been fun. Hasn't been a good ride. I appreciate everybody here. I really don't have anything much more to say than what I've said. Do I trust them? Do you? How about I say, do you trust them? Do you trust that the three the 3 right there? Do you trust them? Go ahead. Let me know in the comments. Do you trust them? You already know my answer. It's almost as if he's oblivious to what real Bears fans, because he walks around and he tries to get this. I think he's trying to get this like vibe of what the Bears fans really think. Do you really think Bears fans are going to go up to you and say, "Hey, fuckface, fix the team, asshole"? I mean, I will, but guess what's going to happen to me? I get kicked out of off the grounds. I get banned from fucking training camp. I get kicked out of the game if I go ahead and I tell you how I really fucking feel. So let me leave you guys with this. Do you guys really feel that anybody can express their true feelings with George McCaskey or the McCaskies, period? Or do they have to toe the line like we've all suspected for all these years, these decades? You toe the McCaskey line, puppet, or you get the fuck out of Dodge. That's what I see. I see dictators. I don't see people who are open for discussion. I see dictators who don't even know how to fucking run the operation. Crazy. Guys, I'm Ivan Vargas. I appreciate everybody that's joined me tonight. It's a wild one. It's a wild one. I don't know where we're going to go. I know I'm going to be cutting up tape here throughout. Phil's going to be cutting up tape as well. I'm starting on the old line. I can't tell where Phil's at. I really don't know. But, yeah, the offseason is in full swing. It's about to get going. We'll see. Let's see what happens. Let's see how this team gets better. Let's see if this team gets better. I don't know. But anyway, guys, appreciate you guys. Until next time, peace.